Do you know how stupid this is? Because it took me. Do you know it took me a whole 20 years before I realized, even if I finish the food, the kids are still starving in Africa. You don't feed them by putting it into your belly. For some of you, you only come to this realization at 40 years, 50 years. You're not feeding them, you're feeding you. It's going in your mouth, your belly. I'm not saying to waste food. Waste food is not good. Order less. Then you should order less. Then you shouldn't over-order. But the problem isn't there. The problem is all the programming. You're speaking it already. This is good. Because now you are speaking your BS. True or true? That's what you're speaking. You're hearing it now. We're doing it just for one thing. Just for eating. That's all we're hearing. What about money? What about relationship? What about love? What about everything else? Imagine wherever all this BS comes out. You'll look at it. A big pile of BS. So, let me tell you how this works. Very simple. When you have something, let's say, for example, I don't know why I've got this eating thing. I just need to finish all food all the time. And whenever I see food, I need to eat it. I don't know why, but I want to lose weight. Most likely, this was pre-programmed before the age of 7. So, what you do, I'm going to tell you the process so you can write it down. Then you can do it with anything. Number 1, you think of the earliest childhood memory that you can remember that's related to whatever the thing you are trying to reframe. So, in this situation, for this example, will be my earliest memory of why I need to finish food. Let me tell you, can I tell you how you were programmed? Is that okay? Okay. We explained before, the brain has 2 parts. One is in charge of the emotions. Then, when emotions is activated, then it locks into the memory. If emotions are not activated, actually, it won't be strong in there. Does this make sense? This is what we call pain-pleasure relations. You can write that down. It's called pain-pleasure relations. So, if I give you an example of what I would recall, Mum would say, my earliest childhood memory of anything related to this. Mum would say, finish the food, finish the food. No, I don't want to finish the food. No, finish the food. You got to finish the food. When you finish the food, good boy. When a when an emotion is added to a belief, then it is logged in deeply. Good boy, Kidwood. I'm doing the right thing. When you're not finishing food, no, finish it. This is pain relation to an action. Finish, pleasure relation to an action. Don't finish, pain relation to the action of not finishing. Now that, over every single day while you're growing up, will be extremely ingrained in there. To a state that right now, you will not even know why you feel bad when you don't finish food. But it has to be in programming. Because let me tell you something. There's somebody right next to you, not finishing food, and feeling perfectly fine. Do you get what I'm saying? They're feeling happy. And because you have your belief, now you try to imply your belief on them. No, finish it. You're trying to destroy them too, huh? So what do you do? So like I said, number one, we recognize when the earliest memory is. We recognize the pain, pleasure, reward system, how it was implied. So number two, we recognize the pain, pleasure, reward system and how they applied it to program us. Now, I'm not saying they did it intentionally, but it happened. They programmed us. Number three, then we go back to that moment through visualization. We go back to that moment through visualization with our eyes closed. Huh? When we go back, we change the pain-pleasure relation. You will feel right now, really, will that work? It really works. Because that's how memory works. You remember things that are emotional. If you make an emotional attachment, it will log into your computer system here that's been programmed. So, imagine this. I'm going to give you an example now. I go back in time. Now, when I go back in time, I see Mom saying, no, finish the food. You finish the food, she rewards the behavior. Now I change the system. I see I don't finish the food, so I leave it. Don't finish the food. Now I need to see Mom replace the behavior with thumbs up. I need to feel it. If you don't feel it, it won't lock in because it's an emotional relation. You need to even find it, this is funny. It needs to be funny, it needs to be emotional. The more emotional, the more it will override the preconditioning before. Does this make sense? Is this making sense to you guys? So I'm there, and then I visualize I'm eating as a kid, and I don't finish the food. And Mom is saying to me, I see my mom, she looks at me, she said, good boy. She's rewarding that behavior. Okay? So that's, on that level we can do. One final one that we can add to it, the system, to really, really condition this mind, is to create our new pain-pleasure relation to the scenarios. Yeah. You don't believe me, all of you who have that eating problem, you try it within 2 weeks, you don't know why you will feel good leaving food. It's weird. I'll tell you what you can do is like this. Think of the result if you didn't need to finish the food every single time. I mean the result. Okay? So that would be the pleasure, I'm guessing. If you didn't. So how you do is like this. Next time you eat, you will eat. You know when you're full. You feel full already. It's just you have half a bowl left, so you think, maybe I should finish. You're full. When you recognize you're full, the first few times will be a lot more difficult for you. So what you should do, you recognize you're full. Number one, recognize you're full. Number two, hold the bowl or the plate, push it away. And while you push it away, close your eyes and visualize your most beautiful outcome. Me with a six-pack. Oh, I'm looking so good and so healthy. Wow, so attractive. Push it away. Yeah. Then you do again. Next time. The first 1, 2, 3